Gentlemen, welcome to Potter's Bluff, and welcome to Gary Sherman's virtual birthday party. Now this, I must warn you, is going to be chaos because I love Gary Sherman, you love Gary Sherman. As it turns out, yes, everybody loves Gary Sherman. So we have over 60 people who are going to be dropping in and out over the next 2 hours. We tried to break this down in a not crazy way, and it's just not possible. Hey, it's a birthday. Birthdays should never be sane or rational. So there we are. We're going to start with a small panel, and then it's going to explode. So before we bring up the man of the hour, it's my pleasure to introduce to you Jovanka Vuckovic, John McNaughton, Kier-la Janisse, Jeremy Dyson.
Hi. Hello, everybody.
Hello.
Oh, John?
There
you go.
There he is.
And now, the man of the hour, Gary Sherman.
Hey!
All right, happy birthday, good sir.
Hey, thank you. Here I am in Museum Station. Before anything gets started, I just want to thank Mitch and Celia and everybody at Fantasia for doing this. Was just an amazing surprise, and I'm really touched. And I just got to also add that I hope that everybody saw the Stuart Gordon tribute last night, which was just amazingly touching, and made me think about everybody that I would like to have here tonight who can't be here. There's more people who can't be here than, Donald Pleasance and Norm Rossington and Christopher Lee and Stan Winston. And I've just had the pleasure of working with so many great people over the years. Alex Thompson and my adopted mother, Zelda Rubinstein, who I miss terribly. She was a little person with the biggest heart in the world. And Jack Albertson and Jimmy Ferrantino from Dead and Buried, they're gone. Rutger and my co-writer on Wanted Dead or Alive, Brian Taggart, passed away last year. My producer on Lisa, Frank Yablans, and it just a lot of people, and my two closest friends in the world who passed away in the last few years, Zalman King and his wife Pat Knopf. And I've just been very blessed to know all these people and have them as friends, and I miss them all. Now let's party. Enough of the down stuff. So
before we even talk, I guess I should lay out the ground rules so the audience understands what's happening. So basically, because this really will be it's a mad world of virtual birthday parties. So there will never be enough time for everyone to talk. And what we've had to do is devise a way for there to be an oral cue so that I'm not just interrupting people, because I would feel horrible, because I'm going to want to hear every story. Fantasia Q&As, we let them go on until the end of time. We never like to cut people off. So this will be, what we devise is an oral cue, a signature sound that people will hear, and that will mean that, okay, we have to bring in more panelists now. And that oral cue is, JF? So yes, when panelists hear that, it's time to sort of wind up the topic and then expect new people to come in, and it'll just be a constant cavalcade of personalities. And there, so let's begin.
It's like musical chairs.
Yep. So who'd like to start?
So yeah, I don't know. Well, I would just like to say happy birthday, Gary. And I'm trying to think back to like when we first started sort of talking or anything. And the biggest memory I have of like is when the Mad Men premiere played on TV, and I emailed you after, and I was like, you must be rich, because I had the mistaken impression that you had directed the Coca-Cola Hilltop commercial. And then you told me that Haskell Wexler had actually directed it, but that I wasn't the first person to contact you about it.
No, I did.
Or sorry, not the premiere, the finale.
I did a later commercial for Coca-Cola. After the Hilltop commercial was done, they wanted, I knew the people at the advertising agency, and they called me and asked me if I would shoot a concert that the New Seekers were doing thank Coca-Cola. It was the Thank You Coca-Cola concert that they were doing. I think it was in Manchester. And so anyways, I went up and shot that concert, and then they made that concert into a 60-second cinema commercial. So I did the second You Buy the World of Coke commercial, not the first one.
But that's where Deathline kind of came from.
Well, yeah, you know, people talked about that, but that's not really true. I mean, it was at the same time, but the money for Deathline came from Jay Cantor and Alan Ladd Jr. And they raised the money for Deathline. So, I mean, I was hired to do that. I mean, I had written Deathline and sold them the script, and then they hired me. John Demme actually talked them into hiring me to direct it. So John and I were friends in London. Then we had a company together. We made commercials, and John was my producer. So it was before he had any intention of being a director. So we worked together.
Well, it's a story that goes around in horror. It's been going around for a long time. I think that you made that commercial, and then the money from that paid for Deathline, and it's kind of like this myth, I guess, that keeps persisting.
Myths are good. We all have myths.
So Gary, where are you are you in Michigan or Chicago?
I'm in Michigan right now. I'm at our cottage in Michigan. It's the only thing that's kept Janet and I sane during the pandemic is we don't see anybody else, but we go back and forth from our house on one side of the lake to our house on the other side of the lake. So sometimes we see the sun rise over the lake. Sometimes we see the sun set over the lake. So, and if any of you don't know, Lake Michigan is about the size of England. So it's a pretty good sized lake. But yeah, I know where you are, John, because I can see it. See, I'm hiding. I'm in London. I'm at the abandoned museum station behind me. So where are you, Kayla?
Me? I'm in a secret location, actually, but it is an island. I'll tell you that much.
An island.
It's a remote island.
A remote island. Whoa. And where are you, Jeremy? I know where you are, but you can tell everybody.
I'm at my home in Yorkshire, England.
In Yorkshire?
Yorkshire, yeah. Just on the moors. We're on the moors. I live just underneath Heathcliff's Moor, on the other side of it. Heathcliff's Moor from Wuthering Heights. But I'm on the far side of it. He was on the Bradford side. I'm on the other side.
Well, I'm in a far less exciting place in my basement, just outside of Toronto, Ontario.
And you know where I am. I'm in my office in Montreal, where we've been FaceTiming from all week.
And Jovanka, did you put the dead and buried poster there for this, or is it live there all the time?
So I've had this original poster for a very long time, and I actually brought it with me to the production office of Riot Girls when I was making Riot Girls as a good luck charm. And like, as you know, I named the town in Riot Girls after Potter's Bluff, and kind of sort of was suggesting that it was in fact the same town, the very same town that it just sort of picks up after the events of Dead and Buried. It's a very special film to me. I've had it for a long time, and when I first was expressed interest in learning, how to make movies and, how to direct, Gary gave me some really amazing advice. He took time, to talk to me and give me advice on how to, going into my first feature and then also going into my first episode of television. But my favorite little bit of advice he gave me was just stand around and look like you know what you're doing.
Well, that piece of advice was given to me by Robert Altman. I had the extreme pleasure of meeting when I was doing Deathline, his production offices. He was doing a film in London with Julie Christie, and their production offices were right upstairs. And one day I was on the way up with Jay and Laddie, Jay Cantor and Alan Ladd Jr. We were on our way up the stairs, and here comes Robert Altman coming down the stairs, and I'm like, I'm 24, 25 years old, and I'm like, that's Robert Altman. And Jay introduces me and says, this young man is just about to do his first movie for us. And Bob Altman puts his arm around me, walks me over into a corner. He says, I'm going to tell you the real secret to directing. And I'm going, yeah. And he says, just stand there and make them think you know what the fuck you're doing. And you know what?
Passed that on to me. It was very helpful.
It was the best piece of advice ever. So ask me, Mitch, who did you want to bring in?
Oh, no, there was sorry, I meant to message that privately to Celia, who's coordinating behind the scenes.
Oh, okay.
Sorry, disregard.
Is Steve Poster on? Because we could bring Steve in.
Well, he'll be on hang on one moment. Sorry, where do we see who raised hands? Because that was showing a second ago and it's disappeared.
Because then, Jovanka, you could ask some real questions about Dead and Buried. And Jeremy, are you familiar with Dead and Buried?
Oh, absolutely. Yeah. In fact, I showed it to my daughter last night. She's 15 now. My eldest daughter. So we're working through all the horror films. So we did Deathline a few weeks ago, and we did Dead and Buried last night, and she loved it. Absolutely loved it.
Mine is only 10, and so I just showed her Poltergeist 3 for the first time a couple of weeks ago. She's not quite ready for Dead and Buried. She's almost there, but did I tell you her review? I was texting you in the middle of watching it, but her review was like, my favorite part of the movie was when all the doubles come out of the mirrors. It didn't make any sense, but I liked it anyway. You can tell Gary I said that.
I can't believe she's 10 already.
Yeah, she's 10. She's 10. Yeah.
I will say 10 is a good age for Dead and Buried. I was probably 12 when I saw it, but
same. Yeah, I rented it from the video store, and had that big red dot on it that said horror.
that was my first Gary Sherman experience.
In England, it wasn't allowed to be shown for a while.
That's right. It was one of our video nasties. Yeah.
Okay. We have one special guest we're going to bring on immediately now. So sorry to interrupt, but please welcome Mick Garris.
Oh, Mick! Hey.
In a moment.
Where is he?
In a moment.
Oh, there he is.
We're getting there.
I see us still.
Yep. Seeing a profile pic.
Let me see. Oh, start video.
All right, perfect.
All right, here I am.
Hey, howdy, Mick.
Greetings, guys. It's so nice. I know everybody except Jeremy.
Well, Mick Garris, Jeremy Dyson. Now you know each other.
There we are. And John McNaughton and I have certainly had the pleasure of working together on Masters of Horror. And Gary, happy 3/4 of a century to you.
Well, thank you, sir.
I'm still waiting for the horror studio to kick in and for us to start making these movies in Chicago.
Yeah, I would love for that to have happened. As we all know, that got a little screwed up. And unfortunately, we already lost one of our people who was going to be with us in that endeavor. We were just talking about the tribute last night.
Yes.
And that was something that we've been trying to put this together for years. It was McNaughton and Mr. Garris here, and Joe Dante and Stuart Gordon and myself were trying to put a studio together.
And John Landis, yeah.
And John Landis, yeah. And to put a studio together to give young filmmakers a shot at making, medium budget pictures, actually. And with us as mentors. We weren't going to make the movies. We were going to mentor young filmmakers. And we had somebody that had said that, who Mick met, we all had dinner, who said he was going to put up all the money, this billionaire guy. I won't mention any names. He actually is a billionaire, but he never spent, he strung us along for 2 years and then never came up with a penny.
Well, I'm just waiting for the call. I'm ready,
Yeah, me too. What about you, John? You still ready to do that?
Oh yeah, I'm waiting. I got time in my hands, believe me, right now.
Yeah, you met him too, didn't you? So this guy, he had all the, he paid for trips to Los Angeles. He had lots of dinners and everything else. But when it came down to him coming up with the money for the studio, it all went south. So,
well, let's celebrate what did happen rather than what didn't.
Yeah.
Yeah, we had a great dinner at Musso and Frank, all of us. That was a fantastic dinner.
You don't know this, but when Dead and Buried was made, I was working at Avco Embassy, and we looked at it to potentially distribute the film. And I was in the room, and I was excited and telling everybody they should get it. But I guess a deal was made while we were watching the movie somewhere else. So,
which?
At Avco Embassy.
For Dead and Buried?
Dead and Buried, yeah.
Well, Dead and Buried was made.
Oh, okay.
Avco
It was
Embassy.
Avco Embassy. Yeah. Okay.
Yeah, Avco Embassy.
I was thinking back to that too, wondering, yeah.
That's right. Yeah. Well, I knew we screened it there, and I remember the attachment to it, and it was pretty thrilling. Bob Ramey was in charge at the time.
Bob Ramey was the executive producer on the film, and then Bob left and went to Universal before the picture was released, and Frank Capra took over. Frank Capra Jr.
Yep.
And those were my folks. Those were the people that defended me against the powers that be in the production company. Against Sandy Howard.
Ramey was a good guy, and Capra Jr. amazing to be able to work with him for a while. And anyway, it was a wonderful movie screening when everybody at Avco watched it, and they just were like.
Were you in Chicago? I mean, you were in LA. It was in LA. What am I thinking? Hometown. Yeah, no, it was. Bob Ramey was just such a warrior and really believed in directors, and he was fantastic, and he fought for me tooth and nail on Dead and Buried, and unfortunately, the production company had more power than the studio on that picture because they were putting up most of the money. And after it was over and the production company wanted to make all kinds of changes, Bob Ramey said, "Gary, just walk away. Let's make another movie." Called me into his office, put a pile of scripts on the table and said, "Pick one and we'll make it." And I read a script called Vice Squad, which I thought, the script was not great, but I said, if you let me do a rewrite on it, I would love to do this. He said, "Go home, rewrite it, and then let's make it." And that's what happened. So
great stuff.
He was a man of his word.
Greatest trailers of all time, too.
Yeah, I love that. I've got a 35 print of that
trailer for Vice Squad.
Gary, can I ask a question?
Sure.
It's about Dead and Buried. Backtracking just briefly. I know that, you've talked a lot about the struggles that you had making Dead and Buried and the changes that were made to the film and, how you felt about it when it was initially released. But now, all of these years later, are you able to embrace it for what it is? You know how there's the film that you want to make and then there's the film that you end up making sometimes. And do you love it now as much as we all do?
You know what? 85 to 90% of the film is the film that I wanted to make. And I love that 85 to 90%. I'm really proud of most of the film. It basically came down to a couple of shots that I didn't like and some re-editing and repacing that they did that I didn't like.
What was the most fundamental change that they made on
it? They wanted more blood. I didn't want... The idea was that there was no blood until Jack Albertson cuts himself or gets shot by, Ferrantino, because everybody in the town is dead.
Yeah.
So there's not supposed to be any blood. There was no red in the film.
And even the eyeball jabbing is bloodless.
Yeah, everything's bloodless.
Huh.
But what they made me add the slashing of the face of the fisherman.
Yeah.
And a couple of other things. There were just stuff that was added, and the acid up the nose of the doctor was a completely added sequence, because in the original idea was that the doctor was actually alive. And I mean, the doctor was actually dead. The doctor was one of Dobbs's people already. So there was no reason to kill him like that. And I hated, and Stan Winston hated the scene, and he didn't even want to come back and do it. So we had to get somebody else to do the effects on that scene. And the effects on that scene are not 10% of a Stan Winston effect. And, but for the, take out the acid in the nose scene. and
which is a memorable set piece. You got to give it that at least. But
yeah, I mean, we did a nice job shooting it. I just thought the effects were over the top.
Yeah.
And because everything else was supposed to be so subtle. And
but it still plays like a very classy, atmospheric horror film.
Yeah, and they took out some comedy.
There was comedy? I mean, there's still some black humor in the film, but you wrote more comedy for it.
Yeah, Jack Albertson had a lot more comedy.
Oh, I could see that. Okay.
Yeah. He was a comedy actor, right? He was a comedic actor.
Yeah, I mean, and boy, was it a pleasure. I mean, what a thrill to, the first film that Jack Albertson did was Miracle on 34th Street. He was the guy at the post office who says, "Hey, why don't we send this letter to Santa Claus to the courthouse?" And that was Jack Albertson's first film role, and Dobbs was his last film role.
Wow, and he was a big Broadway star too.
Oh, he was amazing. He was musical. Yeah, he sang and danced, and he was amazing. It was such a thrill to work with him. So it was quite fun. So
the Mind the Doors cue, which I thought was going to happen, never kicked in. But what we have to do. There you go. Hey, different time zones, it could happen. It took a while for the message to carry through the oxygen in the air. But yeah, we have a series of friends of yours who couldn't be here with us, but shot these videos for you. And we'd like to get a chance to present them. So we're gonna play a little group of greetings, and then from that we're gonna move on into a Deathline panel. So awesome. Here we go.
Okay.
I'm gonna mute my mic.
Greetings. It's Gary Sherman's birthday. Hi, Gary. Hello, people of the virtual realm of Fantasia. For those that don't know me, I'm KCT Malone. Gary once gave me the greatest filmmaking advice I've ever gotten, which was don't pay attention to opinions and suggestions, only pay attention to questions. It took me a few days before I realized it's not just great filmmaking advice, it's great life advice in general. And that kind of sums up Gary to me in a nutshell. A wise man and a great filmmaker, obviously. So, happy birthday, Gary. Here's to many, many more. And when this whole party's over with, I'll be watching Dead and Buried in your honor. Cheers.
Thank you.
Hey, Gary, it's your buddy, James Balsamo. I just wanted to wish you a really good birthday. I know that joke's electrifying. You know why? Because it feels like the first time. Because it's an eel. Happy birthday, Gary!
Thank you, James.
Hey there, this is Edgar Wright speaking from London. I wish I could be there with you guys at Fantasia, but I am here on this momentous occasion to wish Gary Sherman a happy 75th birthday. I've got to know Gary quite well over the last couple of years, which has been an absolute pleasure because I've loved his movies since I was very young. The first, of course, being Raw Meat, or as I know it in the UK, Deathline, Certificate X. I first saw Deathline on late night BBC, and it's really just stayed with me all these years. And I actually live not too far from Russell Square. I mean, I actually can walk to Russell Square in about 10 minutes. So I feel like I really live in Deathline. and I'm a huge fan of Gary's other movies, Dead and Buried and Vice Squad. And I have a particular affection for Poltergeist 3 as well. I mean, and I've talked to Gary about this at length, about some of the amazing shots in that movie. Anyway, Gary, I wish I could be there in person. I wish I could be with you guys live during the ceremony, but I cannot because it is currently 7:02 a.m. in the morning in London. And I've got to unfortunately get up and do stuff, so I can't be with you there tonight. But Gary also did something very cool for me recently, which I cannot reveal yet, but maybe at some point in the future, I'll be able to talk a little bit about something extremely cool that Gary Sherman did for me. Anyway, the most important thing is happy birthday, Gary. And lots of love to my friends at Fantasia as well. And I hope you're having an amazing night, and see you all soon in the same room, no less. But that's something to look forward to. Happy birthday, sir. Bye-bye.
Thank you, Edgar.
Happy birthday, Gary. Have a happy birthday. The fire marshal knows about the candles on your cake. The hook and ladder is speeding on its way, with giant water hoses at the ready. Oh, Smokey Bear says only you can save the day. Have a happy birthday. So make your wish and please do blow out those candles. And we will sing happy birthday right on key. And we will slice the cake for all your friends in many pieces. And I hope you'll save a piece for me. Gary, have a happy birthday. Woo. And hear this message from your Karen group. I'm glad your cake is still a happy birthday cake, and not a slurpy happy birthday soup. Happy birthday.
Thank you, Corky.
That was so sweet. Yes.
Yeah, if anybody doesn't know who that was, he's actually going to be with us live in a little while. But that was Corky Siegel. Well, I'll leave probably in there, not to be, but the greatest blues harmonica player ever. And just everybody, he's amazing. If you haven't heard Corky Siegel play harmonica, you haven't heard harmonica being played. And he's recorded with everybody from Muddy Waters, Howling Wolf, Sonny Boy Williamson. I mean, every great blues player. And he's even recorded with Seiji Ozawa conducting the Chicago Philharmonic, or the Chicago Symphony, I should say. And,
I'm so sorry to cut in, but we should bring on the Deathline panel.
Let's bring on the Deathline panel.
So we have executive producer Jay Cantor. We have producer Paul Maslansky with us. We have actor David Ladd. First AD Louis Morrow Farrell. Property master Joe Tiger. And then for moderators, we have Sean Hogan and the one and only Kim Newman.
Yay.
Hi.
Hi. They're popping in. Hey, Joe.
All right, I'm good.
All right.
Hey, where is everybody? Oh, hello.
Hey, happy birthday, Gary.
Hey, and
can you hear me?
Still with us? Yep.
Hi, Paul.
Hey, hello, everybody. Gary. Hello, David Ladd.
Hi. Hi, Gary.
Hi, David.
Oh, my God.
Hello, Joe Tiger.
Hi, everyone. How are you?
Hey, okay, where's Jay? I haven't seen Jay yet.
Yeah, I'm here.
Hey, Jay.
Your camera. Jay,
there you are. And Paul Maslansky.
Tim, can you open your camera? And
There's Paul. I can't see.
Can you hear me? I don't know whether you can hear me.
You can have it.
I have it in my ear.
There's Jay. There's Jay.
Amazing. There's Kim.
Hi.
Oh, look, I see.
It's hooking up at you, and everyone else is straight on.
Okay. Hello, I'm getting stage directions here. Okay, here, everybody go. So, I mean, it's been a long time since all of us have been in the same room together.
Sure
have. That's for sure. Happy birthday,
Sean,
Gary.
Oh, Paul, can you turn your camera on?
I think I have my
There we go.
camera on.
It'd been off for a moment. Yeah, but there you are. Perfect. Sorry.
Okay. Hello. God, I got to tell you, this is amazing. Turning 75 for me means I have known and been a friend with Jay Cantor for 50 years. And it's just one of the great thrills of my life because Jay Cantor is just one of the great people in our business and maybe one of the great people on the planet. So Jay, thank you for being here. I really appreciate it.
My pleasure, Gary.
So, well, Sean and Kim, Sean wrote the book on Deathline, and Kim is one of the great British critics and film historians. So we invited them here to
partly
ask
responsible
questions.
for that rumor about the new Seekers, which I think I picked up from Robin Wood, but I put it in print. So sorry.
You know what? I was friends with Robin then. I mean, Robin loved Deathline so much, and we became friends, and we hung out a lot together. But he knew I was shooting a film with the new Seekers, and I guess most people from film aren't that television savvy.
Yeah. Robin was a very great and erudite man. I doubt if he knew who the new Seekers were.
It's probably true. So guys, you got a chance to talk to Jay and Paul and Louis and Joe, and you've all talked to me before. Talk to them.
Yeah, I mean, I guess because I've spoken to you quite a lot over the last few years, Gary, about Deathline. I guess I'm interested in hearing from the other guys what they thought when you first pitched them the film and when they first read the script, because it's still, a really kind of radical, quite a different horror movie for the time. And I wondered if, they all thought you were nuts or, what they thought when they read the script.
Did you think I was nuts, Jay?
What?
Did you think I was crazy?
No.
Did you think you were crazy for making the movie?
No, it was a great experience.
Well, thank you. What about Paul?
I don't know whether you can hear me. Can you hear me?
We can hear you.
Okay, good. I recall it in another fashion. I remember Jonathan Demme was, I think, working for Rolling Stone, and he did some work for me on a picture that I just finished with Irving Allen called Eyewitness. So I met Jonathan, and Jonathan introduced me to you. You gave me the script. I had just finished a picture also with Elliot Kastner, where I had met Jay and Laddie for the first time. And I remember you giving me the script, and I remember reading it and being impressed with it and thinking maybe this is something that Laddie and Jay might be able to raise some money with. And that's how I recall the steps. And I remember how welcoming Jay and Laddie were about it all. And I remember it was a picture that had normal kind of production issues, but nothing that we didn't resolve. The most difficult perhaps was the location in the abandoned goods station, and
right there.
getting because we had so much shooting to do in that particular location. But Alex Thompson was probably one of the heroes of that. And I just remember one of the most difficult parts of it was getting the catering double-decker London bus in to that goods station for catering every day,
That's all you cared about, Paul, was good catering.
To this day, after 50 movies, that's all I care about. Yeah.
You know what? And Eyewitness, I was working for you on Eyewitness. I wrote and directed the title sequence. If you remember.
I didn't realize that. Oh, maybe so. There you go. Yeah. Good
Yeah,
picture.
Jeff,
That was a good picture.
I think it was Jeff Foote actually that hired me.
Yeah.
To do that. And
Hey, Joe.
Hello.
How you
Joe
doing, Joe?
Teeger. Joe
Hello,
Teeger
everyone.
came.
Joe
Joe Teeger and I
Teeger.
had worked
Wow.
together. And oh, there's Dustin. Dustin is Jay's son.
Where's Dustin? I haven't seen Dustin in quite a while. Hey, Dustin.
Hey.
Hey, there you go, pal.
Dustin
God.
did his first film job on Deathline. He was a production assistant on there, and he played a body.
Uh-huh.
Oh, God.
And loved it.
But,
Didn't we shoot a Christopher Lee scene in Jay's home?
Yes, we did. Well,
The dining room.
In the dining room. We messed it up pretty much. We brought in a lot of gaudy furniture, which Jay never would have had there, and all those awful artwork.
There was the
I
porno
remember
Jay
that.
as well.
I remember the house.
Yeah.
7 Cheney Walk.
Yeah, Cheney Walk. And who is your neighbor, Jay?
Step down into it.
Jay, tell him who your neighbor was on Cheney Walk.
In where?
On Cheney Walk. Wasn't Mick Jagger your neighbor?
Oh, on one side, yes.
Yeah.
Bram Stoker lived there as well.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Wow.
And Carnacki the Ghost Finder, Victorian psychic detective from William Hope Hodgson's stories.
And Joe Teeger came to us. Joe and I had worked together in commercials and knew each other quite well, but Joe had just done Barry Lyndon, right?
Correct. That's right.
Wow.
Barry Lyndon with who was the prop master? I can't remember. But I was in charge of candles on Barry Lyndon.
I mean, that's more candles than any movie.
Yeah, so that's why.
The worst job ever.
We used over 3 million candles on that movie. You know, he had that lens, that .70 lens from NASA. And
Right, that they built for 2001 for the miniatures on 2001.
Yeah, and we had single wick candles in the foreground,
Right.
double wicks in the midground, and triple wicks in the background. And we went through 1 million candles.
Oh,
Wow.
And, boy, there was nobody like Kubrick, I tell you.
That's for sure.
Why don't you tell the story of your revised script you gave the Underground so you could get permission to shoot there?
Oh yeah, that's right. When we London Transport, when we sent them the original script to Deathline, they turned us down flat. They said, "No way, you can't shoot here," and which would have been a bit of a problem. Most of the abandoned tunnels belonged to British Transport, so we didn't have a problem with the abandoned tunnels, but we needed really live tube trains. So I went through a pile of scripts at Jay and Laddie's office and found a script that they had passed on or something. It was some spy thriller, and so we rewrote a scene in this spy thriller that had to take place in a tube station. And we came in as a different company and asked them if we could shoot this scene, and they said, "Oh, certainly, there's no problem with that at all." I think it was, oh God, what did we call that script? I don't know, Secrets for Sale or something like that. And we gave them, and they granted us permission. And Paul, do you remember what you did? You took the London Transport guy out and got him drunk so that they weren't there when we were shooting.
It's my typical producer's trick, yeah.
What about you, Louis? What do you remember about that?
What, the shooting in the tube station?
Yeah.
That was a hell of a day. Yeah, that was a Sunday.
Yes, it was a Sunday.
Yeah. It was the Aldwych, which was kind of the station that they threw you at because it was the only one that wasn't in service, 7 days a week. I think it's shut Saturdays, Sundays.
Yeah, it's shut on the weekend.
Yeah.
And we only had it for one day. That's all we could afford, and that's all they give us.
early start, late finish, like all those days on Deathline.
Yeah, well, it was a tough shooting scene. We shot in 3 weeks. We shot 2 6-day weeks and 1 7-day week.
That's right.
What was the final budget, Gary?
94,000.
Was it? I thought it was 83,000 pounds.
The one I saw
didn't
was
we get-
94, but never mind. Maybe I
Didn't we
went over
get-
100.
Didn't we have some double ED or something like that?
Well, that was when the film was released because it was so successful. We hit double Edie in 2 weeks with the film, which is why the people who financed it are still saying we didn't go into profit. Mind the doors. What, you want to end
Sorry,
this?
guys. Yeah, that's.
Does anybody else have any questions before we go away?
Happy birthday, Gary.
Happy birthday,
Happy
Gary.
birthday, Gary.
Happy birthday, Gary.
Happy birthday.
Hey, David, you never got to say anything.
Well, I didn't know what to say. What can I say?
Hey, David, look at you. I love you.
Well,
Okay, so we have a special surprise for you, Gary. And to initiate this is one you're going to remember. Please give it up from Arrow Films for Nora Mahoney.
Hey,
Nora!
Where is she?
She's imminently arriving. She's here. I think it's a question of the camera being activated.
Oh, unmuted.
And unmuted.
Am I unmuted?
We hear you now. No, you're good. You're unmuted. And you're
Gary!
Where are you? I gotta find
There you
you.
go. Oh, good lighting.
Yeah.
Oh, there you are.
Yeah, I didn't know
Hello.
what light to choose from, so we went for the whole Giallo set here.
Where are you?
In London.
In London.
London, the old London town.
Ah,
How have you
good
been?
to see you. I'm good. It's great to see you.
I don't know what's worse, seeing the little screen, not being able to hug and to be in a nice festival and drinking sparkling water until 4 a.m.
Yes, that's true. It's all I drink. I let everybody get drunk around me and I just drink water.
Yeah, and you put everybody to bed as well. And then after this, here you go.
That's
Here's your
true.
hotel.
See, water, that's my
Well, it
Nora,
was-
do you want to tell him what
drink of choice. So Nora and Celia adopted me one year at Fantasia, and they decided I was Uncle Gary, and Andrea from Rue Morgue, the
Who's
three
here
of
with
them.
us? We're going to bring her up in the next batch.
Okay, well, the three of them decided I was Uncle Gary, and they were my constant companions for the whole time that I was at Fantasia, which was great. I couldn't have had better company.
That was great. We love your company, Gary.
Well,
Gary.
I love my three nieces.
We love you back.
So Nora, do you want to go into what we have here?
Once.
Hey.
You have I'm just preparing a little cake here.
Oh yeah. Oh wow.
So 1 second. Old days, I'm not any magician, unfortunately. And I do not have 75 candles. No.
Well, as Corky pointed out in his song, we'd need a fire brigade if we'd seven. Oh my goodness. Do I get to blow them out? Oh wow, look at that. Oh man. That's
I didn't know that.
great.
But that's beautiful. I love it.
So Gary, I want you to try
Oh.
to blow them out. 1 second. I'm going to just move the screen a bit so it's easier.
Okay. Tell me when.
Go on. Try again.
Takes a long time to get to London.
And
hey! Do I get my wish now?
All right, bring everyone on.
Oh,
Here's everybody
man.
up.
Do.
Wait.
fade into black.
The streets come alive.
Come alive.
That big city monster just opened his eyes. The hustle, the muscle, the chrome and the steel.
Baby, let's make a deal. Bang, bang, shoot 'em up, somebody just bought it in the neon slime. Everybody's talking about the neon slime.
See, I'm the survivor,
and I know that it feels to be part of the nighttime when everything is real.
The music, the
violence, the sex that can smell. Cold believer in the edges of hell. Bang, bang, shoot 'em up. In the river of the neon slime. Joe Renzetti.
Can you say name?
Joe Renzetti wrote it.
Yes, it's real. It's your
Watching my life. It's to make you want to scream.
It's the latest
rage and the latest hits.
Here it comes.
You asked for it. Bring you some pain. Promise you this. You'll never be the same. It's my body.
Oh, there's Gary. Oh, and Barbara Crampton.
Hey!
Wait, don't do that. Start going with neon slime. Hey, Barbara Crampton. Hey,
Happy birthday!
And yes, we have Barbara Crampton, Brett Pierce as Bailey.
Brett Pierce.
Hey.
Happy birthday,
Happy birthday, Gary!
Andrea Subasati.
Hey,
Susan
where's
Hubley.
Susan Hubley? Where's Susan?
Yeah, I just asked her. So she brought in Anna Steph.
I can't turn this off.
What's going on? How did everyone get?
How cool.
I have no idea what's going on now. JF?
Well, did we lose everybody?
Yeah, and we didn't get most of the people up that were supposed to be up for that song.
I think do it again. There's Jovanka.
There's Jovanka and
Yeah, but we just
Kier-la.
Kayla.
We're getting
We
some
missed the
people.
neon slime dance party.
do it.
Yeah, I thought you guys were all going to be karaokeing with us on that.
You missed it.
I don't know.
We had like
we
20
did it.
confirmed for it.
But I was like, you know, I was doing that in the
Jeremy.
Didn't turn the
background.
camera on. It's fine. All right. Well, let's bring back Barbara Crampton. Let's bring in Susan Hubley, Andrea Subasati. Let's see. You had other cool casts that were here. Yeah, I believe Josette is here. So let's bring him in. And let's bring in composers, Joe Renzetti and Simon Boswell.
Yeah.
Hey, and Corky Siegel.
And Corky Siegel, yes. Let's do that.
Here's Joe.
Hey, Joe Renzetti. Hello, Joe.
Hello.
Oh, and Ashley's there too. Fantastic.
Oh, and
Hey.
Ashley and Andrea are together. Hello, guys.
Hi, Uncle Gary.
Oh, and there's
Robert
the
Cargill made it.
and the missing panelist is here.
Sorry, I had a half an hour meeting that turned it into an hour and a half. So
You put it here?
Oops. Wait, I'm
I'll
trying
hold
to.
it. That's all right.
That's okay. I'll just do it.
Nice tape delay.
Speaking of neon slime, we all had a scare earlier last week about Wings Hauser.
Mm-hmm.
You remember that?
Yep.
False alarm.
Hey, I'm back. I'm back.
My whole stand collapsed here.
I should be back too. Can you hear me, Gary?
There's so much excitement going on. Hello.
Hello.
Is Susan still here?
No.
My oops.
If we can bring in Susan
Here we
Hughley
go.
and Carlo.
You
as
want
well.
to turn off the television?
Yes.
Oh, here.
Yeah, good idea.
There you go.
Use my hand. Do you think it's us?
There.
Okay. All right. Now, I had everything collapse here. I had a major mechanical failure. There's Joe. What are you doing, Joe?
Merry Christmas.
Nothing.
Susan.
Something went on there. I didn't know. I have no idea what that was.
So, Andrea,
Gary,
how are you doing?
doing good. Been trying to get on for a long time.
Oh, well, welcome. Does everybody know everybody? Did I introduce everybody to everybody? So, yes, it's because there's sound coming out of here.
Okay.
Can you turn the sound off?
Yeah, I will, sure.
Wait, I'm trying to get everything organized here after my collapse. I had a total collapse here.
Oh, I see everyone. Jeff, I think, is trying to isolate where the sound is coming from. Jeff, I think it was coming from Gary's side. It's okay. I think he's taking care of it.
So I just wanted to say, Gary, Jovanka said, yes, that she got great advice from you. I was like amazed when I heard that, because she said that Gary said, just stand around, you know, to be a director, just stand around and make sure you look like you know what you're doing. Well, I heard advice from Gary in the 60s. I thought what he said is stand around and make it look like you don't know what you're doing. And it has been a great boon to my career. Anyway, that was it. Okay, enough of this.
I think I was muted. Can you guys hear me now?
Yes.
Is that because people's like suddenly volunteered to start helping you, Corky, or and made your job easier, or?
Pity.
Unmuted. I thought that was hysterical, Corky. Don't listen to those people.
Thank you.
Oh, well, the angels must be flying over.
I mean, Joe, do you want to talk?
Can you guys hear me on there?
Gary. Joe?
Who's talking?
It's Mitch. Hi. Well, do you want to talk a bit about your collaborative work, scoring work with Gary?
Sure. The only thing I can tell you, he really understands music. He gets into it deeply, and I learned a lot working with him from a compositional, film compositional standpoint. I just thought, like every other beginner, if it's raining, you play raining music. And he said, no, he always used to say, what is this scene about? And I said, you're the director. Why don't you tell? I don't know what the hell That's what I learned. And then he never said, he used to say, never use diminished chords. Right, Simon? Right, Corky?
Gary, you're muted. Gary?
Gary?
You're muted.
How did I get muted? Am I unmuted now?
Oh.
There you go.
You still have a sound problem. Then you're muted again. Sorry, guys.
Can you hear me, guys?
Auto mute.
Can you hear me?
Yeah, no, everyone else is okay.
Oh, okay.
Gary, are you muting yourself, or was that JF muting you?
Gary, I think there's someone in the same room as you listening to the webinar, and that shouldn't be. That's why we're going to feedback every time I unmute you.
So my rule, Joe and everyone.
There you go.
All right, you okay now?
Yeah, but what you do, Gary, turn down whatever you're listening to. Gary, whatever you're listening through, your speakers or whatever, turn them down.
No, I'm listening through. No, the iPad's got to go away, or it's got.
There you go.
Yeah, I'll try to figure it out.
It just that Janet brought her iPad in here so I could see everybody at the same time, because I made the mistake of doing this on the phone. Because I was trying to set up my background.
Is it
So
the
I
image
couldn't
you're
see
seeing?
it.
Turn off audio.
You can't see everybody?
It's different. Okay.
Okay, now I can see everybody and
Zoom is
you
up.
don't hear me.
Zoom
Oh,
is
we
up.
hear, we don't hear all
Oh,
the.
I mean, you don't hear my iPad.
Yeah, we're not
So,
hearing it. Yeah.
I got an iPad, a phone, a computer. I'm really into all this tech stuff here.
I will say the feedback, it was like a Jerry Goldsmith Echoplex thing. So it wasn't, it was just the wrong time for it, but it sounded amazing.
I just got a message from Susan. She's on here someplace, but
She's
we
here.
haven't seen her.
You don't see her? She's here. Although she's muted. Susan, can you unmute?
Yeah.
Oh, there you are. Hey.
Hi, Gary. Happy birthday.
Where are you?
Big hug.
Doo-doo. I don't see you yet. I'm trying to. There you are. Hello. I haven't seen you in God knows how long. How are you?
I'm good. How are you?
Okay. Did you see Nora do the Vice Squad tribute?
No, I didn't. We couldn't get on for a long time. Oh, by the way, this is my friend Mary.
Hi, Gary.
Hi, Mary.
Happy birthday.
Thank you very much. Thank you very much. Wow. Well, we
Good
have
to see you. You look great.
Well, thank you. You look great too.
Okay.
And look at Joe. You remember Joe? Did you ever meet Joe when we were doing the movie? Joe did the music for Vice
There's
Squad.
Joe. There's Joe. Hi,
There's Joe.
Hi.
Hi.
Joe.
Hi, Joe.
I don't know if we ever did meet.
I don't think so.
I don't think so.
Your name sounds very familiar, but.
Well, I've seen you many times scoring a film. Get to watch it a lot.
Got to watch it a lot. Hey, people ask questions. Remember, my whole thing was ask questions. So somebody asked questions.
Well, I just wanted to say hi to Susan because my favorite show as a kid was Family, and you were on Family.
Yeah, I loved doing that show. It was great. It was really great. So it was dear to my heart. Yeah.
I would ask Gary, what's the most difficult movie you worked on and what's the most rewarding?
Whoa. You know what? They've all been fun. I love making movies, and
I'm happy.
I mean, Deathline was my first film, and you talk about being intimidated. My first day on my first film, I'm 25 or 26 years old. I walk on a set, and there's Donald Pleasance and Norman Rossington, who have been in more films than I've seen in my whole life, right? I mean, and two of the greatest actors in England, and there I am faced with them, and they look at me and they say, "Okay, boss, what do you want to do?" And, I mean, you talk about intimidating. That
Can I
was
say hello to
intimidating.
Gary there?
How old
What?
were you?
Can Gary hear?
Yeah. Sorry, go Simon.
Gary, it's Simon Boswell here.
Hello, Simon Boswell. How are
Hello.
you? And how is Lola?
Happy-
And how's
Happy
your mom
birthday
doing?
to you. But first, I need to just clear up with everybody. You know, I am a film composer, but Gary and I have had the pleasure of never working together.
That's right. We have never worked together. We're just friends.
So hi
And,
to everyone else I know there, Mitch and Kier-la. There. I don't think I know anyone else, but I'm very happy to be here for your birthday, Gary. We met in Mexico City last year.
Right. And we
see-
spent a lot of time together, Lola and Janet and
we did.
myself. The four of us had a great time. We went on boat rides together and all kinds of things.
We did. We did. Yeah. Anyway, I'm just tuned in to, to raise a glass to you and your 75th. It's very
well.
very
Thank you. And
achievement.
I've really been looking forward to you and Joe. I really wanted you and Joe Renzetti to meet. We'll do a Zoom meeting with John Scott. We'll get John Scott too. And I just thought this would be a little late at night for John, so I didn't ask him. So, doo-doo. And so I'm just, so here we are. And boom. Now, let me just tell you a funny story about me getting to work with Joe Renzetti, because I had met Joe. We knew each other when we were kind of rock and roll days.
and
You're mute, right? So
I wanted Joe to do this movie that I was doing, and so I brought his name up to the producer, who was Alan Landsberg, and Alan Landsberg says, "I never heard of Joe Renzetti." I said, "Well, he's nominated for an Oscar," and he says, "Well, after the Oscars, he'll just be another composer who was nominated for the Oscars." So, anyways, we're actually in the middle of shooting, and the Oscars were on, and I'm on location in the middle of a desert, and that we had a satellite dish with us so that we could, was before cell phones. So we had a satellite dish so we could talk, stay in touch with everybody when we're in the middle of the desert. And we were able to get television on it. So we watched the Oscars from the middle of the desert while we were shooting. And Joe won. He won the Oscar for Buddy Holly story. And we had a satellite phone with us. So I called Alan Landsberg and I said to Alan, "Are you watching the Oscars?" He said, "Okay, Joe Renzetti can do your movie." And Joe and I have worked together on almost everything I've done since then. So he's done some really, the score for Dead is Bill.
But finish that thought, because yes, I love the score for Dead and Buried.
No, I'm used to it. Okay.
But we're actually going to release the score from Dead and Buried on vinyl. It's being done.
That's one of the Holy Grail soundtracks. That's fantastic.
Where's Bill Lustig? Did we not?
Yeah, where's Bill?
We're about to bring in the new group. You heard the Mind the Doors bellowing.
Because
does that mean we're going now?
Unfortunately.
Okay, happy birthday, Gary. We love you.
Hold on. Everyone at the end, we're going to bring back everybody. So
okay.
Hello.
Okay. So the next group up, we've got, Bill Lustig, Josiette DiCarlo, Izzy Lee, Andrew Van Houten, Brett Pierce, David Lawson, and Zelda Williams.
You have to click on.
Wow. Hello, everybody.
You have to leave. There it is.
Don't click us off.
Okay.
Bye, Milch. Bye.
I don't know. I'm still seeing everybody. Hello.
I'm still here for a second.
Wait a minute. I'm getting my homage. Gary's new hair cloth.
Hello, Josette.
Okay. There you go. I'm
and
trying
Mr.
to
Lawson.
Happy birthday, Gary.
And Izzy.
Happy birthday, Gary.
Happy birthday.
Hey, happy birthday. Thank you.
Oh,
Oh yeah, David's got a drink.
Of course David has a drink.
Did you bring drinks for everyone, David?
No.
Yeah.
No, I did not.
Could you refill my wine glass, please?
Sure. No. I mean, I could refill it with whiskey, but not with wine.
Bill,
happy birthday, Gary. How's it feel?
Bill, your microphone's muted.
I feel the same as I did yesterday.
So amazing and
I
the
don't
most
feel any
wonderful
different.
human on the planet.
Yeah. Well, I'm having a great time, and I'm just thrilled that all of you people are here and came to see me, and it's just amazing. It's just amazing. Thank you, Mitch. Thank you, Celia.
Pleasure.
Hey, I'm here.
It just
Happy
amazing.
birthday,
Gary.
Hey, Gary.
Hey, Bill.
I'm listed as
You can hear me?
Bernard.
There's Steve Poster. We were trying to find you before.
How are you?
I'm okay.
Happy birthday.
I'm doing great.
I had to use Dustin's link to get on. I'm sorry. So it's Stephen Poster, not Dustin Bernard. But nevertheless, it's great to see you.
It's great to see you. Everybody's got to have questions for Steve Poster. Everybody knows Steve Poster is one of the world's great cinematographers.
Thank you.
I've had the pleasure of making 3 films with Steve. Or is it more? Cry Angel, Mysterious 2, and Dead and Buried.
Dead and Buried, right.
Which
Absolutely.
was, I was telling the story about Joe before, and let me tell you about Steve. When I got offered Dead and Buried, they said, "Who do you want to shoot it?" And I said, "Steve Poster." And they basically said the same thing they said about Joe Renzetti. They said, "Who's Steve Poster?" And I said, "He's a brilliant cinematographer. He's done just amazing television." They said, "No, you have to get someone that's done a feature." So I said, "He hasn't done it. This would be his first feature, but he's look at his work. And they said, no, he's got to have done a feature. So Jeff Bloom was about to shoot Blood Beach and lost his cinematographer. And I called Jeff and I said, Jeff, I got a cinematographer for you. You got to hire him. He's absolutely great. Showed him your work, talked him into hiring you. Jeff hired you. The studio made a deal with the production manager on that picture that they'd send dailies. They sent dailies every day. They sent your production reports, and we got you approved to do Dead and Buried.
Yep, absolutely. Absolutely.
So
can we take a second to does anybody tell better stories than Gary Sherman ever in the history of Hollywood? Like, it's my favorite part of talking to Gary is just listening.
Yeah.
You've lived an incredible life.
Well, so I'll say hello to Josette. Josette was in Missing Persons, one of my television series. And hello, Zelda. Go ahead, Josette. I'm sorry, I didn't mean.
Oh no, I was just saying I was a TV virgin, so it was my first.
It was your first.
However, Gary made me audition nine times.
Wow.
Whoa.
No, 9 different roles. I started coming in wigs just to see if I could stump him. And he doesn't remember this, interestingly, but love of my life, truly, this man, if I recall, they decided to take such pity on me, they actually wrote me the role for the last episode. So it was my first TV, my first guest star, and it was fantastic. And it was a beautiful role. And I think, thank you for taking such pity on me. You began my entire television career.
Well, and quite a career it's been, and you were great, and you were great in my show, and thank you. So
but now I just want to be a horror film. Yeah, go ahead.
I don't think it's pity if you had such an amazing full career. He just saw something in you that other people hadn't seen yet.
You know, that's quite true. Gary?
There was another actor who I gave his first role to in Missing Persons. And he's gone on to do a little bit of work since then. His name is Stephen Colbert. And he was a student at Northwestern University. Yeah, you never heard of him, huh, David? And he was a student at Northwestern, and he came, and he was at a point in his life where he was going to quit acting because he couldn't get cast in anything. He came and read for me, and I cast him in a role in the second episode of Missing Persons. And he was great in it, and I guess he decided to stick around. And so Peter Deckham is there someplace, and he's sending me puns. He just sent me, he said, oh, Peter Coldbear. So
I wanted to ask, as a fellow Zelda, because I've always loved Zelda Rubinstein, and you speak so highly of her, could you tell a story about Zelda for us all? Because I've loved her forever, and I've always wanted to actually hear like a firsthand story of working with her.
Working with Zelda was just a trip.
Yeah.
Who else is on here that was worked on Poltergeist? I don't know.
Well, no, I worked on Southland Tales with Zelda just before she passed.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah. I was at she had a birthday party just a few months before she passed. That was unbelievable. But working with Zelda, she was just unbelievable. She was a real trooper. I mean, whatever you needed to do, she was there, and she was ready, and she was just. The thing about Zelda, I'd almost rather talk about Zelda as a human being and what her life was about. Almost every penny Zelda made, she gave away.
Wow.
She was she ran an organization that fought AIDS, and that was back when AIDS was really a killer disease. And she would also arrange marriages between people who didn't have health insurance and people who did have health insurance.
That's so cool.
I mean, she just was the most amazing giving person. And I was working with Zelda, was later, it was after Poltergeist, when my mother passed away. And Zelda immediately called me and said, "You can't be without a Jewish mother, you're adopted officially." Oh. and she just became my official Jewish mom until she passed away. I mean, Zelda is one of the people in the world who I truly, truly love. So
I know.
Yeah.
She was amazing. She was.
So hey, Gary, hate to change the subject, but it's time to talk about politics.
Oh my God.
No.
Actually, just joking. We wanted to wish you a happy birthday since we're family on the call, and your your daughter, and so
it's Michael. That's Michael Pearl and Melissa, my daughter, and Serena, and Natalie. And KJ, Natalie's other half.
Yeah, Logan got bored and left a little while ago, but happy birthday to you. Amazing to see all these people on to show you cheer for this special day. And,
wow, this has just been amazing.
It's incredible. So many people that I like you, Steve Poster.
I know.
I haven't seen in a million years, and it's just crazy.
I remember when you were born. Oh my.
Oh, you know what? Paul Maslansky came to see Carol. Melissa's mom was at Avenue Clinic in London having the baby, or supposed to be having the baby. She went into labor and then it never went into labor. And then they finally had to take Melissa by cesarean. Well, Paul and Jonathan Demme and Evelyn, his wife, and Peter Myers, the radio personality, they were all at the hospital room with us. Well, Paul was tired. And he laid down in the room, and the sister said, no, you can't lie down there. So Paul got under the bed. So Paul was asleep under the bed while Melissa was being born. So I don't know if you're still with us, Paul, but I will never forget the fact that and when they brought Peter and I, they wouldn't let me come to the surgery when they did so Peter and I went out to dinner. We came back from dinner, and I got to meet Melissa, and they brought Carol back into the room, and Paul was still asleep under Carol's bed. Bill Lustig, there you are.
Hey, Gary.
How are you doing?
I'm doing great.
You're not on a train, are you? Are you on a train?
No, I decided. Oh, that was a trip. I decided to fly back from Seattle.
This must suck
you guys know I took an Amtrak to Seattle from LA, 33 hours, and it was torture. And I did it because I was afraid of flying. I canceled my return and I went on a plane.
Well, Bill's got. I think Bill has a present for everybody out there for my birthday. Don't you? A little announcement to make.
Yeah, we're finishing the 4K of Dead and Buried.
Yay.
Yeah. So, but we're missing 15 seconds. The AFCO Embassy IP is missing 15 seconds. So we're doing a search all over the world. If anybody knows, it's in reels 1 and 4.
Huh. Wow. Hey, is Neil Calderon out there? Because if Neil's out there, maybe Neil, maybe you know somebody with a print, with an uncut print of.
Or also, Bill, just going to throw this out there. You could hold a contest to have people recreate that 15 seconds. I'm just saying. Full of good ideas.
Hey, Bill, are you going to let me see it?
What's that? Yes. But I was waiting to get in the 15 seconds so we have a complete film for you to come into QC.
Okay. Good.
You don't have a print, do you, Stevie?
I don't have a print, but I'm wondering. I may have some material on it. I don't know. I'll take a look in my vault.
I can tell you, Harry Garrow has a 35 print that I showed him
but it's cut
12 years ago. It might have the 15 seconds though. The problem is that really, it's missing that? Really?
Yes. We already brought in Harry's print.
Okay.
Anybody knows it doesn't have to be in English. It could be in any language because we have the audio.
Yeah.
We're just missing the 15 seconds of footage.
What does the 15 seconds comprise? What is it?
It's small stuff, but when you're doing it, you got to do it right. And we did have HD, and at one time we had our hands on an uncut print, and we don't know where the heck it came from. We're all racking our brains out.
I'll look in my vault. I'm not sure what I got on it, but I'll take a look.
If it's a U.S. version, it's cut. It's got to be overseas. So we're doing a search in Italy, UK, and Australia right now. So we should have some answers by the end of next week.
Great.
Was the U.S. censor that took the 15 seconds out?
Yes. I don't know. I don't know the history behind it. I presume it was an MPAA thing.
Huh.
Yeah, because it's just a bit more gore. But you know, the audience deserves it.
Yeah, somebody sent me a text this morning and said, "Dear Gory Sherman." I've been called Scary Gary. I'd never been called Gory Sherman before.
The plan is, I don't know, I don't see Joe is on, but the plan is I was going to contact Joe so we could put a CD soundtrack along with a remastered Blu-ray as well as the 4K UHD.
Great.
In a special edition package. And we will take the original artwork and make it 3D like we did, with our other 4K releases.
Great.
It's going to be quite spectacular.
And then there'll be the vinyl as well, the vinyl soundtrack as well.
We do have the audio elements, so we're going to convert the stereo to Dolby Atmos.
Crazy.
Wow.
That's
amazing. My films never die. And they're behind Izzy right now.
I'm in Potter's Bluff.
You're in Potter's Bluff.
I am.
The truth is, B-movies don't die. They don't die. It's all those dramas. Does anybody remember, let's say, what was that thing? Ordinary People?
Picture winner, 1979, yes.
The same release date as, or the same year as Friday the 13th. It's
not even available on Blu-ray, barely out on package media. Whereas how many Friday the 13th re-releases have there been now?
Well, I'll bet ask John McNaughton. I mean, with all the great dramas that you've done in your career, I'll bet you get asked more about Henry than any other film.
Yeah. Henry will be your tombstone and Maniac will be mine.
What could That's great. Yeah, but Dead and Buried, we were sent to Mendocino for 4 months without any adult supervision. It was chaos. It was wonderful.
We had a great time.
We really did.
It was more than 4 months, wasn't it? It feels like it was about 4 years.
Yeah, well,
we
with
were
the
up
prep.
there.
You spent 4 months in Mendocino and got paid?
Yeah. And not only that,
we all rented houses.
We rented houses and I had the party house.
Hey, happy birthday, Gary.
Happy birthday, Gary.
Thank you, everybody.
We love you.
We love
I
you,
love you all too. Thank you.
Happy birthday, Dad.
Thank you.
It's great to see you. Happy birthday.
Hi, Serena, Natalie, KJ, everybody.
All right, our next batch up, the birthday celebrants.
Hi,
So we have
hi, John.
Oh, Josette.
Hey, Josette.
Josette.
Bye, Gary. Mwah, mwah.
Bye. Bye, Zelda.
All right, next up, we've got Roberto San Sebastian, James Balsamo, Casey T. Malone, Marcel Perks, Matt Lowe's, Gaz Bailey, Peter Deckham, and we'll bring back Andrea Subasati.
Hey, what a group. Hello, everybody. Where Gaz is coming.
I think I'm here.
Andrew Vanderhouten, I thought you were going to.
And he's back, okay?
You made it.
He was here before, but he didn't say a word. You're muted, sir.
I was listening. I was listening to everyone, Gary. I just wanted to wish you a happy birthday.
Oh wow! And Gaz Bailey. Gaz Bailey is one of Janet's and my favorite people. He runs the Abattoir Festival in Aberystwyth, Wales.
Thank you, Gary.
And,
from everyone here in Wales, absolutely, I speak for the entire population of Wales when I say happy birthday.
Well, thank
also,
you.
Mitch and Celia for organising such a great event. I think we're literally one step closer to a Gary Sherman festival next year. So.
We're at Aberystwyth. I'll be there. I love Aberystwyth. It's my favorite place on the planet. We're moving there. We're officially. I want you to know, Gaz. I actually wrote a letter to a lawyer in London to see if I can get a British passport based on the fact that my mother's British. So.
Wow. What did he say?
I haven't heard back yet. They're still on August bank holiday.
Well, we've got a nice spare room for you in here, so as long as you don't mind putting up with a cat, you'll be fine.
Well, if it doesn't go well in November, I think we'll all be going with you, Gary.
Yeah. Hello, Matt.
Hello, brother.
And James.
Happy birthday,
everybody. And Casey.
Happy birthday, Gary.
Casey, I love the stuff that you post online. You post the most beautiful pictures and the most interesting articles. So everybody should go to Casey's Facebook page because he posts incredible stuff.
Thanks, Gary. I'm a little disappointed that Dave Lawson's gone because I saw him drinking and I thought I need whiskey too. So,
Dave,
cheers. I know he's out there somewhere. Cheers.
Dave is trying to make sure there's no whiskey left in the world for anyone else. Peter Deckham.
I have been called worse.
It's Peter Deckham.
And frequently.
If anybody out there doesn't know who Peter Deckham is, he is one of
happy birthday to Gary Sherman, a master of bodies under the soil squirming. If you look at him carefully, you'll see them worming. That's our boy. Happy birthday, Shermy.
Thank you,
Peter.
Peter is one of the legendary, if not the legendary,
in my own mind,
Hollywood attorneys. And I met Peter right after he graduated from Yale and came to Rigrod Deckham, Rigrod, Pollock, and Bloom, right?
Well, actually, I graduated from UCLA Law School, went to Yale many, many years earlier from a guy who screwed up the Middle East. I won't mention any names. And then I started blogging in 2008, unshred.blogspot.com for all of you who really want to know what it's about. And got pissed off for, how many years have I been pissed off? A long time. And then I met Gary and I didn't need to be pissed off anymore because he was talking about dead people and I would join them soon. So aside from the fact that I have subpoena envy, happy birthday again, Gary.
Thank you, Peter. And Matt Lowe's, for anyone who doesn't know, is a studio executive who's been at many studios. And we met.
Can't hold a job.
He can't hold a job. They keep stealing him from one studio to the other. When I first met Matt, he was at MGM and he was my studio executive when I was executive producing Poltergeist: The Legacy up in Vancouver. And if it wasn't for Matt, that would have been the worst job I ever had. But I got to meet Matt and we have remained very, very, very close friends ever since and done a lot of projects together, including Matt was involved with me on 39, my self-indulgent film that I never released.
Is that the only film that you did that hasn't been released?
Oh, yeah.
That was by your choice.
A couple of snuff movies you don't know about, though.
Yeah, right. So
it's amazing. It's an amazing film if you haven't seen it.
It is. That's actually how I first got to know Gary. Was he submitted the film and I was like, "What? Gary Sherman has a new film?" And then the rest is history. But do you want to explain why you didn't release it? That it was actually your choice not to release it. I think it's important for people to know.
Well, I think
it's actually not a choice, but
well, it was basically because I think that the film is, I set out to make the most disturbing film I could possibly make, and I achieved my goal.
I think you did it with conviction.
Yeah. And I think it is just too disturbing to show to a general audience. Andrew's seen it.
Yeah, in Ithaca, and I still have nightmares. It's one of the most claustrophobic films. It was definitely disturbing. And Gary, I definitely recognized what a twisted individual you were, and enjoyed every moment of it after we had that private screening. It was pretty awesome. But I think Oog was the one who put that together, right?
Oh yeah, Hugh. Yes.
I'm waiting for the musical
That's
version.
where we met. We met at Ithaca Film Festival, and we ran it one night. But what was I going to say? I was thinking about something. But anyways, yeah, 39, and it was. I'm just as glad. I think you've seen it too, Gaz, haven't you?
Yeah, we showed it. We showed it to a whole audience, and they stayed right to the end.
That's the thing. The audiences just sit there and they just stare at the screen at the end.
They don't know how lucky they were. They don't know how lucky they were.
They don't know. They just can't.
I'm pretty sure we didn't clear the screening with the council either. Actually, so.
Call it Old Yeller.
I'm still waiting for the sequel, 69.
No, it's for those who are not quite there, and then you go into turnaround and do 69.
Yeah, there you go. Oh, Peter, be good. You know, I'm going to put you and James Balsamo together because the two of you could pun each other to death.
I do not like humiliating third parties. Second parties are fine, but not third parties.
Marcel.
Hey, happy birthday, Gary.
Now, Marcel, I met in 1995 when she was a student, right? 1995, when you were a student.
Later, when I wrote in 1995 my MA dissertation on Deathline, when I thought I was the only person in the world who loved it, and my tube station for the university was Russell Square, so I had to obviously choose that film. But we met, I think, in 1998. When I was on business in the Bahamas, and then before I was in a film in New York, then we came over to Los Angeles, and we had a fabulous 3 days together, didn't we?
Yep, we did. It was really fun.
Glorious.
Yeah, I mean, if you didn't catch what Marcel was talking about, she went to the University of London and wrote her master's thesis was about Deathline. And
still waiting for that degree, are we?
I got it.
No, she got it.
By the way, I've read it. It actually is a fantastic dissertation.
It's far too academic, actually. But,
wait, is it available somewhere online? Because now I want to read it.
I can send it to you.
Copy.
I can send it to you.
I have a copy.
It was published, an extract was published in British Horror Cinema, but I can also send that to you. You find me on Twitter, Marcel Pertz, and give me your email address. I'll send it to you.
I just sent it.
I have it too, Casey. What? Who sent it? Oh, Matt
sent her my email. I just want to read. I want to read that on Deathline. I fucking love that
movie. Thank you. Oh God.
I have something to say about Deathline. Can I steal the floor?
Yeah, you can always steal the floor.
So I had become editor of Rue Morgue magazine. I think I was in this job less than a year when Deathline was coming out restored on 4K, raw meat / Deathline. And I decided to run a feature. And it was kind of, it was my first foray into, I'd seen Gary's movies before, but it was my first time kind of reading his interview material. And I think something that I've really come to learn in this role as editor of Rue Morgue magazine is, film is part art and part business. And you meet a lot of people who are more on one side and more on the other. But Gary has something to say. He has something to say through his artwork. And I think that makes him really special and singular within the genre. And when we talk about Craven and we talk about Carpenter and we talk about Romero and all these big names, it's become my agenda that Sherman be part of all that. And I think he carries that through in his mentorship of younger filmmakers, up and coming filmmakers. He makes an effort to foster new talent, such as my good friend Ashley right here. And I'm so grateful to that. And I think that's truly legacy in horror.
I love Ashley's work. I first saw Ashley's work actually at Ithaca, not the same time that I met Andrew at another. I saw Ink.
Yeah.
And found out that the director was sitting next to me. I didn't realize that the person who sat down next to me was the person who had directed the film, and Bill Lustig was sitting right in front of us.
He was.
And Bill and I, after the film was over, started talking about how much we loved it, how great we thought a film it was. And there, Ashley says, "I made that." And it began a dialogue that hasn't ended. I just think that Ashley's work is incredible, and I'm waiting for the day that she's got that right script for a feature film.
I'm working on it, man, and
I
I'll
know.
always send it to you.
I know you and
Sure of that.
you and Izzy Lee and Jovanka, wherever you are, Jovanka.
We're keeping you busy. Keeping you
Three of the filmmakers who I hope to produce someday. So,
Happy birthday.
I love working with great young filmmakers. It's one of the great joys of being, and Casey has sent me stuff that I've looked at and we've talked and James and it's just a joy to do this, and it's what I really love doing. So
my favorite review
I'm happy
was Gary Sherman review. So
Well, shall we raise a glass to that?
Cheers.
We can all be thankful for the Gary.
Here, I'll get my drink of choice.
Yes, agua.
My invisible drink right now.
Cheers.
Happy birthday, Gary.
Happy birthday, Gary.
All right, so next up is Adam. Thanks, everyone. Next up, we have Adam Singer, Ross Albert, and we're bringing back Izzy Lee.
Wait, I just lost me. I'll be right.
Oh, you just dropped.
Everything just fell over.
Harry is taking us to his bathroom for a moment.
Oh no.
That's my analysis. What's your analysis?
I don't like this. I don't like this.
It's a motivational moment.
You know what? I'm moving for right now.
I feel motivated.
Yeah, let's do it simple.
I'll be right back, everybody.
All right.
Told ya.
Your chair's good.
Tinkle, tinkle, little star. We know exactly where you are.
Okay.
Put your laptop down.
What?
Here and here.
My laptop.
You don't need the laptop.
No.
Just get your phone back. There you go.
Okay. Wait, I'm trying to get back, guys.
Yeah, no worries.
Once you pass over, you
Gary,
can't
it's
come
your
back.
party. Do whatever you want.
It's my party, and I'll cry if I want to.
You're party trained.
Double click to see everything at once.
Oh, here we go. Here we go. I'm getting back here. Okay.
Hook it back up.
Lost your
All right.
off.
At this point, everyone can just imagine what you're really doing.
Here you go. You see me?
No.
Thank God, no.
No.
Not yet, no.
I got
And there
my
is
picture
gratitude
up
in
there.
that.
Oh.
They can't see you? No? Oh, you're not. Oh, you're on photo. You're on photo. You're not.
Oh,
on.
man.
Hi, Izzy.
Turn off.
Hey, Jovanka.
Photo.
How are you?
Close
It's been so long since I've seen your face. It's
I
nice.
know.
We gotta talk sometime soon. Sure, yeah.
You know what? I think I may have to sign back in again, guys.
No, what? Double click so you can get back to your.
Gary's out. He's done.
Well, I will take the opportunity then to say hi to Jeremy Dyson, who I
Do you
have
hear me?
remotely interviewed.
Hear you.
You can hear me and I can hear you, but
Can you double click to show all your frames?
I remember,
The
Kier-la,
darkness has descended upon you.
the WTF in festival, wasn't it?
Oh, yeah.
Safe driving mode.
Double click
Was
on
in it. That was a brilliant.
Gary, you have faded to black.
there we go. I'm back.
Resurrection.
Resurrection.
Small technical problem here.
All right.
Okay. All right. There we
Gary, thank
I'm
you
back.
so much for what you just said. That means the world to all of us. That was so wonderful.
I mean it. I mean it. You guys mean a lot to me. I love working with young filmmakers, and I love reading scripts and talking to people about it. And I keep saying I will talk to people about scripts, and nobody sends me anything.
Well, I'm gonna send you stuff. That's for
Okay.
sure.
Okay.
I have a question for you, Gary, that I didn't get to ask yet, but Sean Hogan's book, I don't know how many of you have read Sean Hogan's monograph about Deathline, but it takes a really interesting approach in that it basically is written as though it's like the diary of Donald Pleasance's character in the film.
Yeah, Inspector Calhoun.
So what was when you first read that, what was your take on it?
Sean's book absolutely blew me away. I mean, totally blew me away. He understood Inspector Calhoun just to the depth of him. Jeremy, are you still there? Have you read it?
Yeah, I've not read it. No, I shall be on Amazon as soon as this is finished and ordering it. I've not read it, no.
Oh, it is. It's written as if it's Inspector Calhoun's diary. And it's absolutely fantastic.
Really?
Yeah.
Yeah.
It
also weaves in stuff from other movies. So there's references where there's like a character working in the bar where Calhoun goes to drink, who is actually the John Finch character from Frenzy, the Hitchcock movie.
Right.
And so there's like references in it, like the day the earth caught fire, I think, and stuff like that, like the reporter from the day the earth caught fire.
Yeah, that's brilliant.
There's just like amazing stuff. And he made like another book later called England Screaming, where he does like a much more like grander scale version of that type of thing. But the Deathline book, it's so cool because, there's so many of these sort of single film monographs that are analysis of a single film. But it was such an interesting and loving approach, to the film.
Is that still in print, Kayla? Do you know?
What's that?
Is that still in print? Do you know?
Yeah, it's still in print. It's Midnight Movie Monographs that put it out.
Yeah. Yep. It's really good. I mean, I was just blown away. Actually, the year that it was published, I sent it to almost all my friends as a Christmas present. I just was I just was so blown away by it. Actually, I sent a copy to Edgar, and I sent a copy to Guillermo, and I sent copies to lots and lots of people. Adam Singer, we have an Adam Singer here. Adam Singer was my principal DP on when I did my show First 48 Missing Persons, and we had lots of fun riding in the back of police cars for a few years.
The difference is you were wearing handcuffs.
The difference was I got to go home at the end of the day. But we spent Adam has spent a lot of time riding in the back of police cars.
True. And there's 3 of us back there, remember?
Yep, there were 3 of us crammed into the back, and then they kept getting smaller and smaller cars when they went to the Ford Focus, because we used to have the bigger Fords, and then they went to a Ford Focus, and the 3 of us were cramped in the back like crazy. And we all had to sit low because we had cameras on the dashboard shooting the detectives who were in the front seat. So we had to scooch down so that we wouldn't get on camera. And we had screens up there so we could see what was on the cameras so that we knew we were off. We weren't in the shot. So
Gary,
it was.
Do you have any BTS photos of that? Because I would love to see that. The 3 of you guys scrunched in the back of a Ford Focus.
I don't think we ever got anything. I don't think we ever did any production still or anything.
Yeah, I don't think we did either. I mean, it was. We could recreate it for you, though.
How big was the camera you were operating for that, Adam?
Small. We were using, it was a small.
The Sony.
Yeah, Sony.
But
camera.
it wasn't that small. X3s.
Yeah, it was.
Or EX3.
Yeah, EX3.
Sony EX3. That's what we were using, and we had multiple crews out, and it was. We had a lot of fun, and we were one day they had to pick up a suspect, and we weren't allowed in the car, so I brought my car along to follow everybody else. And so Joe Struck and Pam Childs were the two detectives, and Joe drives like a maniac. So Joe is driving down the streets, you know, these little side streets of 60 miles an hour, going through stop signs, through red lights, and I'm right on his ass. Because he said, just stay with me. So we get out of the neighborhood and get into this park, and he pulls over, and I pull over behind him, and he gets out and he says, do you know you've gone through 3 red lights, 4 stop signs, and you were speeding? I have to write you up a ticket. So, it was, but that was Joe. But anyways, we had a lot of fun doing that show.
Craig says hello. He's on here somewhere.
Where's Craig? Craig Harris, are you there? Raise your hand,
Let's
Craig.
bring him up if he's there. Jess, let's bring him on.
He said he raised his hand. I don't know.
Craig?
Says, tell them to let me in. That's what he says.
JF, can you let Greg in?
Hey, JF, let Greg Harris
the door.
Let him in.
I'm not seeing him on the participant list.
Oh, Peter Marks, too. Got a
Peter
whole crew.
Marks is here, too, yeah. Peter and Craig were both producers on the show.
There you go.
So can we bring him in? What's happening here? JF?
There he is.
There he is.
Right.
Hey.
I know why you didn't let me in.
And your name
because I wear
Harris.
size,
That's why I couldn't find you.
It's because I wear size 15 shoes. That's why.
Gary Ross is on too.
Hey.
Who?
Oh, Ross Albert's there someplace, too. Craig Harris, what's going on?
You tell me, brother. What's up, boss?
What's up, man? This guy's amazing. He came on and he called me and he said he wanted to work on the show. And my partner on the show said he's never done a show like this before. We can't afford to hire people so I talked to Craig and I said, how would you like to do the Sunday shift for a while?
Tell them the whole story. Tell them the whole story. Because, you know, I've been listening the whole time. And one of the things that been said is that Gary gives everyone an opportunity, and that's true. I had written, you know, I was an actor, basically, and then I wrote a couple of TV films, but I never produced. And it was Tom Bush who told me to go down and like talk to him. And when I walked in and talked to Gary, one of the first things he said was that I have 5 minutes. Yeah, I sit down at the desk. He goes, "You got 5 minutes." He said, "I'm doing this as a professional courtesy to Tom. You got 5 minutes to impress me. You never produced before, and I'm going to tell you it doesn't look good." And I was like, okay. So I started going through my thing. You know, I'm trying to impress him. And at 5 minutes, he cuts me off, and it was like, okay. And he goes, you know, I don't know. He said, we'll think about it. But that you were taking everyone out to sushi. It was around the holidays. And I had never had sushi before. And I told him, I was like, well, I said, you're going to sushi. I never had sushi. He was like, you never had sushi? Well, come on. So he invites me out. So now I'm like at the table eating sushi. And people are looking at me. I remember like Peter and all these guys are looking at me like, who the fuck is this guy eating the sushi, right? And then we hit it off. We started talking about horror. We started talking about music. We're just going back and forth. And then he invites me back to the office and says, hey, you know, are you doing anything? I was like, no, I cleared my schedule to be here. And you told me I had 5 minutes. I you know, blocked on that. He was like, no, come on back to the office. So we talked. And we talked for like, I think it was like 2 or 3 hours after that. And he said, you know what? I really like you. Maybe we can do it like a Saturday weekend shift or something like that. And he offered me the job on the spot, and I became like a part-time producer. That was my first television network producing credit. And I now have a show that I sold a Lifetime that Adam worked on. But I remember walking out of there, he's like, well, I'll smooth everything over with Bob. And as I'm leaving out, I hear him and Bob just going at it. Like, but Gary, I mean, he's always been my mentor. I always go to him for advice. He brought me up through this industry. I owe all of my success as a television producer to Gary because I learned at the feet of the master.
Well, there were two of you that proved to be fantastic. I'm not going to say which one was better because you guys are both the best. And Mr. Marks, Peter Marks.
First of all, Gary, I just want to say that, Craig, I had no problem with your sushi eating skills. Just for the record. You really showed me something that night, which was I knew you were going to have my job. I knew you were going to have my job in about a month.
I was eating sushi to feed the boy that I thought not getting the job. So I was like, I'm going to like bid these guys for like $100 worth of sushi. But that's the truth.
Gary, happy birthday. Happy 75th. You've still got this great hair like your father.
It's like a Jerry curl. Yeah.
Well, we buried my dad with a full head of hair at 102 years old. So,
Gary, I'm a little disappointed. Last time we talked, you had this big quarantine
beard. I trimmed my beard.
You look so respectable now. It's disappointing.
Well, the hair's still.
Oh yeah, look at that hair.
I have not cut anything off. Mike Gingold's here.
Hey. How you doing, everyone?
Hey, we're doing great. How are you doing? Congratulations on the new Fangoria.
Yeah, that was a nice surprise, a bit of news to get yesterday. So, yeah, onward and upward. And happy birthday.
And upward. Well, thank you. Ross Albert, I see there. Ross Albert was the assistant editor on Dead and Buried when we fired the editor. We brought in.
Say it was propitious.
Yeah, we brought in another editor who Ross worked very closely with, and basically Ross was more a co-editor than an assistant editor on Dead and Buried, and went on to cut every film I've done since then.
Hey, is there some way to, Pam Childs wants to get in too?
Pam Childs, bring Pam Childs.
Yeah,
We'll
can we let
continue
Pam
to
Childs
talk about
in?
First 48. Pam. Where's Pam?
JF, can you let Pam Childs in, please?
There she is.
Oh, I'm seeing her. Okay.
Now, let me tell you about Pam Childs. When we started working on First 48, we met. You talk about, one has a pre idea about what police are. Well, when you start working with Special Victims Unit, these are cops that never get to use their gun, ever. I mean, it just sits there in their holster getting rusty. And they're heroes. They're absolutely heroes. They help people. Pam Childs works mainly domestic violence, and she gives every one of her victims that she talks to, she gives them her personal cell phone number, so that if they have any doubts about anything, they can call her anytime, 24 hours a day. She is just one of the most amazing. I met her, I brought her home to meet Janet, my wife. The two of them are totally in love with each other. And Pam recently bought a house near our house in Michigan, so that we're neighbors now. But anyway, Pam, are you there?
Turn on your camera, Pam. And your mic.
I see her eyeball is there.
Yeah, we're seeing a profile pic, but we're not. You have to activate your camera, please. Should be bottom left of your screen.
So,
Apocalypse Communications.
Pam is having a problem.
I guess so.
As we're waiting, Tony Timpone just joined us, so let's bring him in as well. Welcome, Tony.
Tony Timpone. Where's Tony?
Otherwise known as Galaxy Tab S2. That's the street
Tony.
name. Oh, you have
You're
to
muted.
unmute your microphone.
You're muted, Tony. Unmute yourself. We have to hear that famous voice.
Happy birthday to one of my favorite people in the world, Gary Sherman.
Well, thank you to one of my favorite people in the world for saying that, because I love Tony Timpone.
This is like Hollywood Squares of.
Janet said this is the Hollywood Squares of horror.
Paul Lind.
Yeah, where's Paul Lind? Can you do Paul Lind, Tony?
I could do Vincent Price, though.
How are you?
Oh, doing great. Doing great, Gary.
I love Tony, and I love Tony's wife. Tony's wife, Marguerite, and Janet's shouting in the background, I love his wife.
Oh, that's so sweet. We love you guys too, and so happy to celebrate with you. And I've been enjoying all the stories from all your friends, and must be very gratified to have that kind of support. And you deserve it all and more.
I'm just absolutely blown away, and I still can't stop thanking Mitch and Celia enough for making this happen. It's just unbelievable. This is a great birthday. How can
Where is
anybody?
Celia? How come Celia's not on here?
Celia doesn't want to come on.
I know,
She's here. There she is. Hey.
Happy birthday, Uncle Gary.
My other
Love
niece.
you.
Yeah. Stay with us. If you want.
If I can do the chat and do everything at the same time, but I'm
She's operating the switches behind and like letting me know who's coming in and communicating to JF.
She's doing a great job. She keeps letting me say so. As far as I'm concerned, A+.
Absolutely.
Thanks.
So we never found Pam Childs. She's lost.
There. She turned the camera. She's still here with us. We can see her avatar. Pamela?
Yeah, I asked her to turn on the video, but she's not responding. So,
Pamela, can you hear us?
There she is.
I
can hear you.
Hello.
Hi.
Hi.
Hey, Adam. Oh, my God. Happy birthday, Gary. Hey, Craig. Oh, my God.
What up, girl?
And Adam and
How
Peter.
are you guys? What'd you say,
Are you
Gary?
driving?
I
You're
am.
driving?
I had to go and get the dog from the vet right in the middle of this thing. So I had to get everything connected to the car. It's been nuts. But I am. It's
You
nice
better be
to
careful.
see you, dude.
You could get
I'm being
arrested
careful.
doing this. The person you're looking at, was it 3 years ago, was named Chicago Police Detective of the Year.
Oh, you are just too much.
Given an award by the state's attorney's office. And we were there.
That did happen, Gary. You know, you have an amazing memory. Amazing. You are truly an amazing guy.
Yeah, you are an amazing person. And we're so happy to have you as when are you coming up?
I am coming up probably Wednesday next week.
Okay. Well, we will see you up here.
Yes, you will. I can't wait to see you guys up there. I miss it so much.
Does anybody want to ask the real police a question? This is one of the most amazing police detectives ever.
I live in Milwaukee. Am I really banned from coming down to Chicago right now? That's what I want to know.
Not at all.
Okay.
Just hop in that car and hit the road.
I think Pam is the only other officer that had problems fitting into a car like I did in the back seat when they went down to the Focus or was it a Prius or whatever they were driving. That's a police car.
Yeah, the Ford Focus.
Yeah, I was one of the people in the back seat. I'm a big guy. It was like me, the sound guy, and Adam. Yeah, those were just ridiculous.
Yeah, it's quite small back there in those little cars.
Yeah, and I grew up in Inglewood, so I'm used to being in the back of the cars. But I was like,
Oh my God, Craig, stop it.
Now I was getting paid. So that was I wasn't cuffed. Only if I asked.
Wow.
Tony, when did we first
Peter,
meet,
is that you? Is that Peter Marks?
Yeah,
that's Peter
me.
Marks.
Hi, you
Oh
gorgeous.
my God, Peter, how are you, honey?
I'm good. How are you doing?
Man, it's nice to see your face. I'm doing
Likewise.
okay.
Look at that matinee look that he has is what it is. Yeah.
Put on my makeup before this.
I'm looking at you. I want you already, man. Not gonna miss that, yeah.
Pam, we miss having you on camera. When are we getting the band back together?
Yeah.
Wouldn't that be nice?
Yeah, it would be.
We used to have a hell of a
There
time.
you are.
Where's
Yes, we did. We
Celis?
have
Why
lots of-
isn't Celis here?
I don't know. Did he sign up?
I don't know. Do we have a Celis Morris any place there? JF on the
No,
Not
not
seeing it.
yet.
no. Well, he's
So,
probably
Gary-
working. He's still working.
Gary,
You might say something about all the great cops that it's the few bad ones that.
I did.
And, oh, good, because it's like so in the news.
Yeah.
So,
Can Janet poke her face in there? I haven't seen Janet. Can she?
She has to give him direction off camera.
Oh,
Yeah, she's giving me my off-camera direct. Janet, do you want to stick your face in
Yeah,
here?
I think I haven't seen Janet in a while. Hey.
Everybody wants to see you.
oh my God,
Come
I'm
here.
not
Janet, come
so
on.
where am I? Oh my
Hey,
God.
There she is.
Hey,
How you
everybody.
doing?
Hey,
It's so good to
Janet.
see you all.
Good to see
Nice
you,
to see
Janet.
you. Say hi to Tony.
I know, and
Peter.
I don't know all of you, but I know many of you. And Pam is, she is really is like a best friend. And can I just say what, I'm
Yeah.
sorry, because I'm say a lot of stuff just off the cuff, but right now there's so much in the news about police that I just want to emphasize how many people like Pam, I'm pointing to you. There are so many more amazing, dedicated police that are not, and we're totally on the side of the left. I mean, we are, but it's wrong that people just say these blanket statements about police, because we've had an opportunity to meet so many amazing, dedicated police, and they're out there because they want to help people. They're not assholes. They're not racist. They're not crazy. They're caring, kind people who put their life on the line. And there's a lot of bad ones out there, but most of them are good. And Pam's an example of a hero, especially as a woman. So I'm just going to say that.
Okay.
So plus it's nice to see you all. And I'm really proud of my husband. So, and if Gareth, if you're still on, we miss you and we want to come back to Wales. Actually, we might move there
We want to move there.
in case things go the wrong way in November, but it won't. So,
Take me with you.
thank you. Okay, I'm done. I'm done with my rant. So.
Gary, if that happens, can you adopt me?
Yeah,
And then
same.
Yeah, well, I'll
Same.
adopt all of you.
Yay!
We need to start the Gary Sherman Merry Pranksters bus. We'll all just head on over. You know.
I'm in.
So we have a new person to bring in. We have film critic David Canfield.
Oh, David Canfield. Did Dan Travanti ever show up?
No, I'm surprised. Unless he came with a different name as a sign-in name.
No. And Patty Lombard, did she show up?
Yeah.
I believe so.
Yeah.
Hey,
Hey, Dave.
Gary, I could not come to this. I love you so much. You are just such a connector of people and such a wonderful filmmaker. And I just appreciate so much how your stuff has influenced all these people to just care about you. That is you. I think that's the thing that has just over the years just blown me away. Anytime we've gotten together, you are 100% present for everyone in the room. And I think anybody who knows you knows what it's like to feel a little special. So happy birthday, man.
Well, thank you, Dave. And you've been a really good
Seriously, I'm finally here. Hello, my darling.
Hello, Patty.
I raced my ass home to be here for you, and they finally let me on. Hi, honey.
They finally let you on. And Daniel never showed up. So
Oh, Travanti, you know him. He's crazy. I love you, Gary Sherman.
I love you
Okay,
too, Patty
Gary
Lombard.
Sherman, when I was a little girl in Chicago, I went in to audition for him for this new TV series called Missing Persons. And miraculously, Gary gave me the job. And we only got one season, which we should have gotten 10, 12, or we should still be on the air, frankly. But
We would be, except Disney bought ABC.
Is that what happened? Seriously?
Yeah.
I'm sorry, I look like this. I just raced home after. Okay.
We had almost the highest ratings at the time on ABC, but our demographics were over 35, and Disney didn't want a 35-year-old demographic. They wanted a 15 to 25-year-old
Because 35
demographic.
is so ancient.
Well, because they said we want the Pepsi generation, not the Geritol generation. That's what Disney said about the show.
I just want to say,
we had almost the highest ratings of any show on ABC at the time.
and it was great, Gary. It was great. We shot on the streets of Chicago. You wrote this brilliant stuff every week. I mean, if anybody hasn't seen Missing Persons yet, I mean, we came out in the Stephen J. Cannell like group thing. Oh my God, I looked like, what's his name? That Democratic, I do. Never mind. What's his name? You know, the one from the South. Always talk. Never mind.
The strategist. The strategist.
Cargill.
James Cargill.
James Cargill right now.
Oh my God! Yes.
Anyway.
Oh, wow.
Sorry. But Gary Sherman
What is going on? This is a mess.
I joined. That's what's happening. No,
Patty, do it in Cargill's voice. I know you can do any
well,
voice.
I tell you what, this election, it's gonna be a real problem unless we get a hold on it. Because you know,
You gotta speak slower though.
Gary.
You guys are watching one of the great voice artists of our day.
That's why I was late today. Never mind. This is not about me. This is about you. Gary Sherman, I just want to say, as we all know here, who love him more than life, Gary Sherman gave me a chance on this TV show, Missing Persons. I was better than I've ever been before. We should have had more years, but he taught me so much. He gave me so much. He's the most generous, loving human being. Oh, look, the girl's gonna cry. I love you, Gary. Happy birthday. I thank you for letting me on, Mitch. It was a VIP invite and they kept pumping me off. Hey. Anyway, if nobody has seen Missing Persons out there, seriously, it is such a good TV show, right?
I've seen it. Yeah, no, it's great.
Yeah.
Everything Gary touches is gold. I mean, that's why we're all here.
That's true. Seriously. Yeah.
You guys are embarrassing me now.
I'm here because he bought me popcorn at the Music Box one time. That's why I'm here.
By the way, bread.
Yeah,
Gary,
true.
bread. The last time
you let me cut into line, Dave.
I did.
Hi, Dave.
Hey, how you?
Who's there? Hello?
Okay, well, the last time I was in Chicago, Gary Sherman brought over to Travanti's house, maybe the world's, did you make the soup? Did you make the soup?
Yeah.
Gary made the soup and brought the bread, and I just gained 10 pounds in an afternoon, but it was great.
What kind of soup?
Which soup was that? Because I was bringing soup over for Dan all the time.
You brought a vegan soup with a little bit of spice in it, and then you were afraid it might be too spicy for Dan, so you added
vegan minestrone.
Oh, was it a vegan minestrone?
A vegan? No, it didn't have noodles. It was like a vegan. I'm sorry. Are we boring?
It's Gary's birthday. We can talk about soup.
It was a vegan. It was so good. We all need the recipe for this soup. It was a vegan, spicy something you brought over in a big pot, and Janet was there.
I make big pots of soup all the time, so
well, the bread was also great. The bread was great. So
good bread.
You see why I love him? The man makes soup and brings bread.
I'm a vegan. I have to cook. You have no choice. So
okay,
what
I'm
can
gonna
I
stop
tell
now.
you?
I love you, Gary. I want to hear from other people. I love you.
Who hasn't had a chance to say anything yet?
Well, I have to say that
cousin just messaged. Oh, sorry. Go ahead.
Oh no, I have to say one of my favorite times seeing a movie in New York City with a good New York City audience was Wanted Dead or Alive.
Sorry.
Because I saw that with a really enthusiastic Saturday night crowd. And when Robert Guillaume said, "Next time you want to fuck me, kiss me first," the entire place exploded. That's one of the greatest reactions to a line I've ever. And also, "fuck the bonus" is also a great moment. But that Guillaume line in particular just brought the house down. It was one of my favorite times seeing a movie with a really rowdy kind of New York crowd.
Well, "fuck the bonus" was amazing. You know, we were sitting and working on, I mean, you know, we had 2 weeks to write a working script to get that film into pre-production. And then I was going to rewrite the script I was rewriting this. Brian Taggart and I were rewriting the script while we were in pre-production. But we had to get a basic script together. It was a strike coming. There was all kinds of stuff going on. Bob Ramey was driving us crazy to get this thing done. And boom, we were brought in at a late date. They had a script written and the script was awful. And then they fired the writer, they fired the director. They brought me in and asked me to rewrite it and direct it. And he said, but I have to have a script for us to start pre-production in 2 weeks. So Brian and I literally worked 24 hours a day. It was the first script I ever wrote on a computer. And so anyways, Brian and I were there, and it finally, we got Rutger bringing, you know, Malak al-Rahim out by his kafia and with the hand grenade in his mouth and doo-doo-doom. And suddenly I said, "Brian, I have it." He said, "What?" And I said, he says, "Fuck the bonus," and pulls the pin on the hand grenade. And Brian jumps up and screams, and I start screaming. The two of us are jumping around. Arthur Sarkisian is in his office down the hall. He comes running and says, "What's the matter? What's the matter? What's going on?" And we turned to him and we said, "Fuck the bonus." And he goes, "What?" I said, "Rutger pulls a pin on the hand grenade." And Arthur says, "Oh my God, that's wonderful. I love it." And boom, and "Fuck the bonus" was born.
Amazing.
Doom.
Oh.
Doom.
So we've got a message from your cousin. Gary, Marilyn Rowland is here.
Sorry.
Who's here?
Marilyn Rowland is here. She's asking to be brought up, so we should definitely bring her in.
Okay.
Apparently your Brit cousin?
Oh, yes. Marilyn or Amanda? Who's there?
She's gone? Okay, she's apparently gone. Okay. Sorry, she's gone.
She's gone to bed, apparently. She's gone to bed.
I'm not leaving.
Was it Marilyn or Amanda?
It was Marilyn.
But I wanted to say about Wanted Dead or Alive, I had completely forgotten about this until you just brought it up. But it was like, when I first saw Wanted Dead or Alive, I was working in a video store and I decided that I wanted to be a bounty hunter. And so I was going to like quit my job at the video store and be a bounty hunter. And I was like looking through the yellow pages, trying to find like a school or something you can go to be a bounty hunter. And then realizing that in Canada, they're just called skip tracers and they, collect people's student loans. And I was like, oh, well, that's boring. I don't want to do that. And so I never did it, but the movie was inspiring to me in that way.
Did anybody else just want to do Rutger Hauer after Wanted Dead or Alive? I mean, let's be real, okay? My God, what a sexy man. Ow!
I got to tell you, if my daughter's still out there, this is going to really embarrass her. But, my daughter, her whole life got to meet movie stars. I mean, I was a film director. She would come to the set with me and boom, boom, boom. She was never, it didn't matter. She was very blasé about everybody she met. And it was just a normal thing, except Rutger Hauer.
There you go.
She and her girlfriends were all like, I mean, it was just unbelievable. She just could not believe she was meeting Rutger Hauer. He was.
Gave that gift to her, Gary. That's like, hello. You gave me a poster of Rutger Hauer, but it's kind of not the same.
Not the same. No.
I love it.
It was funny because it was Rutger Hauer and Gene Simmons, and I would have thought that Melissa would have been more excited about meeting Gene Simmons, and she said, "Who cares? I want to meet Rutger Hauer." I think Melissa just texted. She wants to come on and say something for herself.
Let's definitely bring her in.
Bring her in.
Yeah, can you find Melissa up there? Also, we have Amanda Keats.
Oh yeah, Amanda is my cousin from London.
So we can bring in Amanda.
Little Eva.
Here's Melissa. Hi.
Fantastic.
How are you,
Welcome back.
Patty?
Excellent. How are you?
I am well, thank you. And Dad, I remember you told me after we left, Rutger said, "Do you always intimidate your daughter like that?"
You were intimidated by Rutger Hauer. I've never seen you intimidated by anybody.
I can't imagine Melissa intimidated by anyone.
Gary, I didn't know you then, or I didn't know her then, but I would have been more excited to see Gene Simmons. And so I just have to state that as a fact, since I had Kiss cards and Kiss magazines and Kiss albums when I was like 6-7 years old. So, and you did get to introduce me to him once, 4th of July in Palisades High School.
Say hi to Eva, she's on.
Yeah. I see Amanda's come in too. Hi. This is my cousin Amanda. She's a film journalist in London.
AKA.
And
stand a chance today with these jeans.
yes, well, with Amanda, you should meet Michael Gingold, who is the film journalist here.
Oh, thank you.
Michael, you English, Michael. Lovely. Right. Okay.
Gingold? No, he's
I'm American.
Oh. Whatever.
Don't admit that anymore, Michael. We don't admit that anymore.
We don't admit that anymore. We're all
No, we
British
don't.
now.
No.
We're all Canadian.
Actually, we're all
North American.
I was going to say, I'm not sure we're much better over here. You might be better off where you are.
No, we're going over there,
about that.
Amanda. If this happens in November, we're all on our way to you. That's it.
Yeah, pretty much.
Right, Gary? Sorry.
Absolutely.
Gary, do you want to start a commune?
Passport.
Yeah, we'll start a commune in Wales, in Aberystwyth, Wales. Gaz, are you still with us? We're all coming to see you.
In Wales. Hello.
In Wales. Yep.
Where's
We're all going
that?
to go to Wales.
I'm on my way.
Easier to travel in an airplane.
No, we'll charter a ship. We'll charter a ship.
Gary, I love you.
You guys all stick around.
Happy birthday, Gary.
Stick around. Guys, you can stay. What we're gonna bring back everybody now.
Okay.
For a grand finale.
Hey.
Oh my
Now
gosh.
it's gonna become Hollywood Squares of Horror.
I would love for Melissa,
I said that.
for Melissa
Take
to
a
say
screenshot.
her best thing about her dad all these years growing up, because
There's Gaz.
he adores you, or whatever. But Melissa, what is your greatest thing about your dad? Can you do that in 20 words or less? Sorry. No.
You know what? This is going to sound so weird, but the best, this is going to sound strange, but the best birthday present I ever got from him was for my 23rd birthday. And I moved in to, no, my 22nd birthday. I moved into a single apartment and there was this gross carpeting and we ripped it up and there were these beautiful hardwood floors underneath. And my dad spent like 2 days with me sanding down the floor and polyurethaning it and making it this adorable little hipster pad instead of just this gross little place over a garage. And that was like the best thing ever.
Girl.
And it's just absolute dedication and that just warms my heart like nothing.
And then he honed those skills and he helped me stain my deck about 4 years ago. He's done a lot of that handyman stuff while I've had to fix his computers over the years.
Yes, Michael is a computer genius person, and I remember when I did the toast at their wedding, I said, "I'm not losing a daughter. I'm gaining 24-hour support."
Yeah, that's when I had to turn off my phone.
So who else? I saw that John Iltis and Deborah Hatchett were here as well.
Cervantes. Okay, never mind.
Deborah Hatchett there? Oh, I'm saying, didn't know there was a list. You just messaged us. Okay. Jeff, can you bring up Deborah Hatchett? She's just
and John Iltis.
And
John Iltis is a film publicist, or he's now retired, but he was my publicist most of my career, and my great friend. So
is he up? We're still not seeing him.
Oh my God, I'm wrong. Oh my God.
Everyone is here, but there's not enough room anymore. There's like 2 windows of people, so you can switch from one to the next.
Whoa! Okay. I thought half these people had left. That's amazing. Okay, crazy. So
Sorry,
you can actually
sorry,
see
I have to
everybody.
say
That's
one
a
thing.
shame.
I'm so
Hi,
totally
John.
wrong. The first job Gary Sherman ever gave me, oh my God, was in Poltergeist 3. I played, oh, Gary, I'm so sorry. But it was Poltergeist 3. Jane Alderman was the casting director in Chicago,
Right.
the late, great Jane Alderman. And you gave me the part of a mother driving a minivan.
Yep.
And we began this great friendship. And all those years later, you brought me in to read for Missing Persons. My God, I love you so much. I can't.
And then you also did one episode of Poltergeist: The Legacy as
I
Dan's
did.
wife
I
again.
did. I did an
Yes.
episode. Where would I be without you, Gary Sherman?
I don't know.
I don't know
How-
either. Okay.
Hello, Deborah Hatchett. Hello, John Iltis.
Happy birthday.
Deborah was also somebody who got their first acting role in Missing Persons.
Yes. Yes.
Wait.
Good old days. Hi. How are you?
Excellent.
Yeah, long time no see.
Yeah. Well,
Wow.
welcome. And John Iltis. John Iltis was my neighbor in Chicago when we lived in Old Town.
21 Cleveland.
2151. Yep. He lived in the basement. I lived in the gables of this old Victorian house that was turned into an apartment building. And he worked for Balaban and Katz then as a publicist. He then went on to build a career, and we were with Universal for a while, right?
Yeah, Universal.
And he was with Universal in New York and came over to visit me in London, and got his pink slip from Universal because they decided to shut down their publicity department and hire outsiders. And so he never left. He became my permanent house guest for about a year. And we got him a job with Jay and Laddie, and he became their publicist. And then he was the publicist on Deathline when we made Deathline.
And then subsequently, also, when I moved out, I moved into Jonathan Demi's apartment and took care of Leo the cat.
Right, that's true. Well, we finally were able to get rid of you, and then you moved in with Lewis.
Right.
So, is Lewis still here? Or Lewis probably is sound asleep by now. It's very late there in London.
Where is still there?
What?
Poster lived down the street from us.
Wow.
On Cleveland.
Oh, Poster, yeah. Poster was our neighbor in Chicago. But I knew Steve and I have known each other since we're like 6 years old or something. And then we went to college together. So
Sherman, you're 1 in a million. You just 1 in a freaking million. That's it. He is.
But
hello.
I did publicity for you on I don't know how many.
Yeah, you were on most of my films.
Yeah.
I think. Yeah. You did Poltergeist. You did
amazing.
Lots of films.
And the TV
well, John, and TV, yeah, and Missing Persons. You were the unit publicist.
Who was on Missing Persons? Who was the publicist for?
John. Iltis.
Hey.
John.
I remember.
Honey.
Voice.
We should have just gone on and on and on and on and on. Okay.
Let's start a thread to get Missing Persons back on the air.
Joe Renzetti, best composer ever. Sorry.
Where is Renzetti? Is he still
He's
here?
the profile pic
I'm up there. I can't get my.
Talking way too much.
Banning me from being on camera.
Top right.
Gary, Jill and I wish you a happy birthday.
Well,
Happy
thank
birthday,
you.
Gary.
Yeah, John's wife Jill is an amazing photographer. So, and
on that note,
yeah, And you're well lit, John. I like the dramatic lighting you've got there.
Always about the lighting.
So
it's all about the lighting, right, Deborah?
Always.
Bam.
Yeah.
Okay.
And Marcel, I will wave to you, Marcel.
Where's Marcel?
Marcel has been helping me. I'm doing, for whatever reason, it's like an Deathline's become an obsession with me. And I'm writing a history of Deathline from 1843 to present day, of what happened and what happened to the people down there and where they came from. And she's been helping me with the research, and it's just been absolutely amazing.
Oh, I cannot wait to read that.
Yeah, so I thank you publicly. I thank you.
Wow.
I'm looking down at you over there, and I think you're looking at me, but I have to look in the camera, right?
We're all going to get early copies of that, right?
Well, you'll all get early copies of that. Yes.
All right. I'm so sorry to do this, but we do start wrapping up. Unfortunately, it's
But this is just the coolest thing
hours.
ever. The
I
coolest
know.
thing ever.
But let's bring back absolutely everybody, and we're all going to sing very happy birthday.
Hey.
So you have to bring everyone, if you're still on, log back in, please. Open your cameras, unmute your mic, and we will sing happy birthday to Gary.
Who's starting it? Mitch?
That's a very good question.
Give us a key, Mitch.
Where's Corky
All right.
Siegel? He's got a Corky Siegel. And
Corky's
still
popping
here.
up. People are still
Corky
coming back.
frickin' Siegel. Come on, babe.
He's got to give us a lead-in on harmonica like he did.
Going.
Oh, there. It's okay. I'm sorry, I'm changing.
Okay,
There you go.
it's okay.
I get to sing too.
Hey,
Max,
John.
this is going to go so well and won't be weird at all.
Hi, Dad.
The most romantic scene of happy birthday ever.
Okay.
Want to start it, Patty?
Who's starting?
Are you ready?
Who's got?
Maybe you should.
Happy
Birthday
Wait, who-
Happy
That was a
birthday to you.
Happy birthday.
Like hearing a suppository in your ear.
Happy birthday, dear Gary.
Mind the doors, mind the doors, mind the doors and the
This is inevitable.
Thank you to the people of Powder Pond.
Thank you, everybody.
Happy birthday.
This has been a great
The worst
birthday.
horror film you've ever been in.
Hey, Gary.
Thank you.
I mean,
Happy birthday, Gary.
Happy birthday.
happy birthday, Sherman.
Next year. Do this again.
And Janet.
We'll do this again when he
Next
turns
time we
100.
come to Chicago, I want soup and bread. Kiss, kiss, hug, hug. Kiss, kiss,
Thank
hug,
you.
hug. Hey, Janet.
Hi, Patty.
Soup
Here's
and
a microwave.
bread.
We'll
Oh my
do this
God.
again on my 100th.
Well, your dad did it.
My dad did it.
I love
Bye,
you all. This is
everybody.
fabulous.
Bye,
Happy birthday.
Love you, buddy.
Doors.